Dumbledore raising, Harry doomed the wizarding world. Picture this. Instead of a scrawny, cupboard-locked kid meeting Hagrid on his 11th birthday, Harry Potter grows up in the headmaster's gilded tower. Every spell, every suite, every secret handed to him on a silver tray. Same scar, same prophecy, same war looming. Just one tiny switch in who tucks him in at night. And that single switch, it's enough to crack the very foundation of the entire wizarding world. Are you ready to watch it collapse? If Dumbledore raises Harry, the prophecy never hardens into a weapon. It softens into a bedtime story. Without starvation, without the sting of the Dursleys' neglect, Harry never learns what it feels like to lose everything. And that, right there, is the first domino. Because the boy who never tastes bottomless desperation never fights like the world depends on it. He fights like a privileged kid proving a point, a prodigy showcasing his inherent superiority and that arrogance. It's contagious. By the time he's 15, allies roll their eyes, enemies sharpen their knives, and Voldemort finally gets the second chance canon never let him have. It's a chilling thought, isn't it? Dumbledore, kind-hearted but chronically busy, raises Harry the way he runs Hogwarts, with good intentions wrapped in detachment. House elves do the parenting, Fawkes does the lullabies. Harry learns early that famous names don't just open doors, they practically usher you through them with a red carpet. He can wander the restricted section at age 9 because, as Dumbledore would gently explain, curiosity is a virtue, my boy. He can out-duel most third years by 10 because practice makes legend, Harry. Never forget that. Every teacher greets him by title, Mr. Potter, the boy who lived, so humility never gets a toehold. Why would it? He's already the best. Meanwhile, the Weasleys become little more than background color at platform 9 3/4. Ron, shy and second-hand, sees a kid in dragon-hide boots and bespoke robes, assuming they're from different planets. Harry, oblivious in his bubble of privilege, barely registers the redheads. Hermione, still muggle-born and brilliantly astute, meets a Harry who answers her earnest handshake with, "Oh, you're the one with the parents who are dentists, right?" Fascinating. It's not cruelty, it's pure, unadulterated cluelessness. Privilege has insulated him, not just from hardship, but from genuine connection too. Without the shared trauma of troll fights and detention in the Forbidden Forest, the trio never forges that same iron bond. Harry keeps a polite distance. He has other friends, naturally. Pure-blood kids who know the right quills to buy, the right summer estates to visit, the right people to be seen with. When first year ends, Ron quietly boards the train with Ginny, wondering how the most famous kid in their world could feel like such a stranger. Quirrell still hides Voldemort under his turban, but this Harry doesn't charge in recklessly, driven by loyalty or fear. Oh no. He marches in with a headmaster-signed note granting him library access to research protective enchantments for the stone. He uncovers its existence months early, strolls past the same traps with 2 carefully selected Ravenclaw acquaintances, chosen for their intellect, not their courage, and confronts Quirrell like a student presenting a prefect badge. He's not here to save, he's here to manage. Here's the kicker, he bargains. Harry, utterly convinced of his own intellectual superiority, offers Quirrell a deal: information on Hogwarts' wards in exchange for a cut of the immortality market once Voldemort regains a body. He genuinely believes he can outsmart a Dark Lord, seeing it as a thrilling intellectual exercise. Arrogance, meet prophecy. Quirrell hesitates, momentarily stunned by the sheer audacity. Voldemort, however, smells opportunity, a path to power he hadn't even considered. The possession accelerates, the parasitic bond strengthening with renewed purpose. Harry escapes by pure dumb luck, a fluke of magic that even he can't explain. The stone is gone, devoured by Voldemort's renewed ambition. Dumbledore arrives to find his own protégé shaking, not from fear, but from the exhilarating realization that he just spoke to the most feared wizard alive and lived. The taste of danger, of playing with fire and walking away, is intoxicating. He doesn't see failure, he sees a successful negotiation. Second year, the chamber opens. Ginny still writes in the diary, but this time Harry's circle of elite friends mocks the very idea that a Weasley could be involved. He never befriends her, never hears her cry in corridors. Her plight is beneath his notice. When students are petrified, Harry's first instinct isn't to solve the mystery out of concern, but to engage in damage control for the school's reputation, and by extension, his own. He publicly suggests the attacks are a stunt by Muggle sympathizers trying to discredit Slytherin House. A politically savvy, if morally bankrupt, declaration. The comment earns front-page daily profit coverage, bolstering his image as a shrewd leader. Hermione, petrified and lying in the hospital wing, becomes a mere footnote in his schedule, squeezed in between Quidditch practice and private dueling lessons with a paid instructor. Ron, desperate and alone, still steals his dad's flying car. But without Harry's invisibility cloak or any inside knowledge, he never finds the chamber. He crashes, is caught, and faces expulsion. Dumbledore, busy calming the Board of Governors, who are now questioning his judgment thanks to Harry's public statements, doesn't piece the puzzle together fast enough. Ginny dies. Tom Riddle's memory solidifies into a chillingly powerful teenage shade and slips out of the castle. Wand in hand, diary Horcrux not only intact, but significantly upgraded with the stolen life force. One Horcrux down. Nope, Horcrux upgraded, a far more dangerous entity now roaming free, a direct consequence of Harry's self-serving PR. Sirius escapes Azkaban, intent on protecting the godson he believes is still the neglected baby from the papers. He breaks into Hogwarts, corners Harry in an abandoned classroom, and spills the truth about Peter Pettigrew. Harry listens, chin high, cloak clasped in emerald silk, a picture of composed authority. Then he laughs. Not a joyous laugh, but a cold, dismissive chuckle. You expect me to trust a convicted murderer over the headmaster who raised me, Sirius? Over the man who knows my potential better than anyone? He stuns Sirius with a practiced flick of his wand, marches him straight to Dumbledore's office like a bounty hunter delivering his prize. The old man's eyes twinkle with a mix of pride at Harry's decisive action and a profound growing regret. Sirius is kissed by a Dementor 2 nights later, his pleas for a trial falling on deaf ears, overshadowed by Harry's heroic capture. Peter remains disguised as Scabbers, free to rejoin Voldemort at the first opportune moment. Harry never learns what loyalty truly tastes like when it costs you everything. He only learns what it means to be strategically ruthless. 4th year, the Triwizard Tournament rolls around. Harry's name still emerges from the goblet, but this time he views it not as a death sentence, but as due homage to his unparalleled fame and destiny. He doesn't befriend fellow champions, he charms or manipulates older students and even some junior professors into sharing their notes on each task. His dragon encounter? A single elegant summoning charm for his broom, a flawlessly executed flight that earns full marks, and a standing ovation. Not for bravery, but for sheer, unadulterated skill and showmanship. He's a performer, and the crowd is his audience. Cedric still dies in the graveyard, a tragic pawn in a larger game, but Harry's reaction is chillingly different. He returns clutching Cedric's body, eyes dry, utterly devoid of tears. He proclaims with a cold, clear voice, he should have moved faster. He lacked the foresight. The crowd, already uneasy at Harry's cold competence and lack of emotional display, gasps in horrified silence. Rita Skeeter's quill goes into overdrive. The boy who lived proclaims survival of the fittest, a chilling glimpse into our Savior's soul. The wizarding public, starved for humility and a hero they can relate to, begins to whisper that perhaps the scarred Savior is becoming something else entirely, something far more unsettling. When Fudge denies Voldemort's return, Harry shrugs. He has the prophet on speed quill, he can spin his own narrative. He pens an op-ed titled "Why I Alone Can End This War," quotes his owl scores with pride, and signs it, not humbly, but with bold, self-assured flourish, "The Chosen One." The arrogance goes viral, and for the first time, people aren't just impressed. They're truly scared. 5th year, Dumbledore reforms the Order, but Harry refuses Grimmauld Place. "I'm safer in the castle I control, Headmaster," he tells McGonagall, his tone firm. He instead founds a private club. Silver and green sashes, invitation only, training classmates in advanced dueling and strategic combat. This isn't Dumbledore's army, it's Potter's Praetorian Guard, loyal only to him. They practice stunning charms on first years who ask too many questions or show too much independent thought. Harry cultivates an air of untouchable authority, his followers echoing his every pronouncement. When Umbridge cracks down, Harry doesn't circulate clandestine leaflets or organize quiet rebellions. He leaks embarrassing, often fabricated intel about ministry officials to the press, blackmailing his way out of detention and undermining Umbridge's authority through public humiliation. The inquisitorial squad, far from being Umbridge's tool, becomes Harry's unofficial police force within the school, enforcing his will, not hers. Students whisper that the boy who lived has started looking suspiciously like the next Dark Lord in training, a chilling echo of the very evil he was meant to defeat. Meanwhile, Voldemort, now corporeal and watching from afar, decides the quickest way to break resistance isn't to fight Harry directly, but to let the wizarding world think Harry already chose the dark. Why duel a symbol when you can corrupt it from within, watching it destroy itself? 6th year, Harry stumbles upon Snape's old potions book. In canon, he wrestles with the ethics of Sectum Sempra. Here he sees it as irrefutable proof that power and reputation outrank academic honesty and moral qualms. He perfects the spell, adds his own chilling margin notes, then anonymously sells the improved curse to 7th years for 20 galleons a pop, viewing it as a profitable side hustle and a way to exert influence. He's a merchant of destruction. When Draco, emboldened by his own dark connections, corners him, Harry doesn't hesitate. He casts first, without a shred of remorse, hospitalizing Draco for a week with a devastating, unfamiliar curse. Snape, forced to choose between protecting Lily's memory and disciplining the boy Dumbledore adores, covers it up, citing a training accident. The cover-up, rather than chastening Harry, emboldens him further. Consequences become an abstract concept reserved for lesser kids. Dumbledore, finally realizing the monster he enabled, the twisted reflection of his own detached mentorship, attempts a reckoning atop the astronomy tower. But Harry, trained since childhood to view the headmaster as benevolent and his actions as tests, interprets the confrontation as just another challenge. He lowers his wand, a subtle, arrogant smile playing on his lips, and says, "I understand why you doubt me, sir, but history will vindicate my methods. You just don't see the bigger picture yet." At that precise, awful moment, Snape arrives. The plea in Dumbledore's eyes is clear. End this. Snape casts the fatal spell. Harry watches, horrified yet morbidly fascinated, as the only parental figure he ever trusted plummets into the courtyard. He does not cry. He catalogues the moment, not as a tragedy, but as a necessary sacrifice for progress. 7th year, Harry never hunts Horcruxes. Why scavenge for scraps of soul when you can simply own the ministry and rewrite the laws to your liking? Voldemort, recognizing a kindred spirit in ambition, offers him a seat at the table. Harry accepts, reasoning he can moderate Voldemort's excesses from within, consolidating his own power in the process. The prophecy twists itself into an agonizing pretzel. Neither can live while the other survives, so Harry simply refuses to die and refuses to kill. He becomes the immortal bureaucrat, signing off on Muggle-born interment while commissioning colossal statues of himself, a twisted monument to his self-proclaimed genius. Ron and Hermione, now fugitives, attempt one last, desperate infiltration of the ministry. They reach Harry's opulent office, pleading with him to remember who he was, to remember the boy they knew. He responds by quoting his own press releases, his eyes cold and distant, devoid of recognition. Hermione, heartbroken and furious, slaps him across the face. Ron, a shadow of his former self, draws the sword of Gryffindor. Yes, it still presents itself to the worthy, even in this bleak reality. But he hesitates. That single agonizing pause costs them everything. They are captured, interrogated under veritaserum, their every secret ruthlessly extracted, and executed at dawn as traitors to the new regime. The resistance, decapitated and stripped of its last, purest hope, collapses overnight. The wizarding world, stripped of its last vestiges of hope, kneels. Voldemort rules openly, but everyone quietly understands the true power sits behind a mahogany desk labeled Minister Potter. Years blur into a grim succession. Harry's face stares from every coin, every poster, every classroom wall. Children recite Potter's pledge instead of the Hogwarts motto, their young minds molded by his propaganda. Yet discontent simmers, a low, dangerous hum beneath the surface. A new prophecy surfaces, not spoken to Dumbledore in a dingy office, but scratched into the stone of an Azkaban cell by a dying seer. The boy he raised shall break the world he saved. Harry laughs when he hears it, a harsh, humorless sound, then orders the cell demolished and the seer silenced. But the words haunt him. He starts waking in cold sweats, seeing Cedric's blank eyes, Sirius's gaunt face, Ron and Hermione hand in hand on the gallows, their faces accusing. He tries to double down, stricter curfews, harsher punishments, more pervasive surveillance, but every decree, every act of control only widens the cracks in his iron-fisted rule. One bitter winter night, a ragtag alliance of remaining Order members, giants who remember fairer treatment under Dumbledore, and house elves tired of servitude storms the ministry. Harry, drunk on his own legend, steps into the atrium to meet them wand first. He expects fear, he receives pity, a quiet, profound sadness. Neville Longbottom, Neville, the almost Harry, the boy who could have broken under Bellatrix's Cruciatus but didn't, offers him one last heartbreaking chance to surrender. Harry's response is a cutting curse, aimed not to kill, but to inflict agonizing pain. Neville parries, disarms, and without malice, without a flicker of hatred, slices Harry's wand arm clean at the elbow. No duel, no grand spell work, no epic clash of light and dark. Just the simple, brutal end of a boy who mistook protection for invincibility, power for wisdom. As Harry bleeds out on the cold marble tiles of his own ministry, he finally understands, in his last gasping moments, compassion without humility is just another word for control. The prophecy never required him to defeat Voldemort. It required him to choose humility over hubris, empathy over arrogance. Dumbledore's love, untempered by struggle, forged a blade that ultimately cut the wrong throat, destroying the very world it sought to save. With Harry gone, the spell of fear breaks. Voldemort, suddenly deprived of his convenient public face, finds the streets turning against him. The war still rages, but the wizarding world, bruised, battered, yet finally united by a common enemy, has a fighting chance. The boy who lived becomes a cautionary tale carved into the rebuilt ministry wall. Beware the hero who believes his own myth. One decision, Dumbledore keeping Harry, cascaded into unimaginable arrogance, political rot, and millions bowing to a tyrant wearing a lightning scar. Canon Harry's greatest power wasn't a spell, it was empathy born from neglect, a profound understanding of suffering that fueled his fight for justice. Strip away that crucible, that hard-won humanity, and you don't get a kinder chosen one. You get a chilling cautionary tale about how even the best intentions can, with fatal ease, raise a monster in hero's clothing. So the next time someone claims any upbringing beats the Dursleys, remember Privet Drive's cruelty forged a humility privilege never could. And if you enjoyed watching this timeline unravel, hit like, drop your own alternate reality theories in the comments, and subscribe for more dives into the might have been. Because sometimes the worst thing you can do for the world is give the boy who lived a perfect childhood